Christian Parenting.
You hit play on this episode, and I'm wondering, what made you do that? Where are you at with this feeling overwhelmed? Has the summer been overwhelming for you, and you're just like, I don't know if we can carry into the homeschool year. I'm just not prepared. I don't feel well rested. Maybe you're just overwhelmed thinking about all of your homeschool plans. You're taking a look at that stack of curriculum that you put together in the spring, and that feels overwhelming. Or maybe you've started your homeschool year and you're a day, 2 days, 3 days, a couple weeks in, and you're feeling frazzled and overwhelmed already. Or possibly that feeling of overwhelmed and just maybe a little bit of burnout is being carried over from last homeschool year, and you're thinking to yourself, I cannot continue in this cycle any longer. Are you one of those? Feel free to message me and let me know. I really hope that today's episode helps you to get a new perspective, step out of that, because our kids really feel the feels that we feel. If we're stressed and overwhelmed and burned out and exhausted, they're going to feel that as well. We don't want them to feel like that, and I don't want you to feel like that either. And I know that the Lord doesn't want you to feel like that either. We know that there's going to be a certain level of stress and anxiety and fear and worry because of the sinful world that we live in, and we just take those on. It's not just a cakewalk all the time, but it's what we do with that, and how do we process that, and then how do we even allow things into our lives that are going to add to that feeling of overwhelm and stress and anxiety. So today we're going to talk to you, the mom who's feeling stuck in your overwhelmed, and I have 3 kind of quick little steps here. I'm not going to promise that it's going to be easy and quick to step out of this cycle, but I really hope that these couple of steps get you started, no matter where you are in the homeschool year, whether you started or not, or maybe it's a little while until you start, whether this is your first homeschool year, or you're in year 2, 3, 4, 5, or you're in year 10, 15 plus. Let's get into it now. Welcome to Little by Little Homeschool Podcast. I am Leigh Nguyen, and here we are, mid-August. Wow, the summer is just flying by. That means that we have just about a month until Little by Little Homeschool Conference. If you have been thinking about joining us, I highly recommend you get your ticket really soon. Because even though we have about a month until the conference, ticket sales will close on September 4th. So that is the final day. I know some of you have been procrastinating. Listen, I get it. I'm like that too with things. But we would love to be able to welcome you on September 19th to Little by Little Homeschool Conference in Syracuse, New York. This is our 3rd conference. I will be hosting it, and Jamie Erickson from The Unlikely Homeschool and Elizabeth Urbanowicz from Foundation Worldview are coming into town to share and to speak with you. It's going to be an amazing day. The link for that is in the show notes. Now let's dive into today's episode. As the title told you, I have just 3 steps. And again, short, sweet, not always easy. Just like when it comes to when I've just been on this journey, I've mentioned it many times of wanting to lose fat and gain muscle. And it really does come down to 2 simple things. And that is eating less. Mainly, I'm not saying eat less of the good stuff, but, listen, I don't need the cake. I don't need the ice cream. I don't need it. I want it. But it's also then that movement and that strength training and the building of the muscle. And so it sounds simple, just those 2 things. But guess what? It's not easy. These 3 steps, I'm going to say they're simple, but they're not easy. And I'm not going to give you a timeline. This could maybe take you a couple days, couple weeks, couple months. This might be a process of the entire homeschool year. None of those timelines is right or wrong. It's only right or wrong if you don't allow yourself the time to work through this. And this isn't just a process of just physically doing some things. I want you to work on it mentally and spiritually. Just like when I was working on the losing the weight, and it's something that I struggle with still even now. I had to do the spiritual work of recognizing my sin of gluttony and confessing that to God and just asking the Holy Spirit, please help me. Help me to remember my body's a temple, and help me to remember that, again, I don't need to eat all of that stuff. I'm overeating, and it's out of a need for something else. And that's a whole other episode right there. But just recognizing that there's a spiritual aspect to all of this. So let's get into the 3 steps to get out of the cycle of feeling overwhelmed with your homeschool life. This isn't just the curriculum. This isn't just the different subjects in the co-op and all those things. Those are all a part Homeschool is an entire life. It is a lifestyle. It is a way that you and your family are doing life. And it's different, possibly, than your next door neighbors. It's different than maybe your family members or the other friends that you have or the people that are going to your church that are putting their kids into public or private school. Your life is different. And even your homeschool life is different than the other homeschoolers that you know, whether from co-op or from church or your sister's family or your friends. Everybody is going to look a little bit different because we're all unique, which is really cool, which means we can learn from one another and we can pull and glean different ideas from different families. No two families are going to look alike, but this is an entire life that we are doing. And we don't get to compartmentalize. We don't get to say, this is the school time, this is the mom time. It's all it's all lumped in together. It's a big mushy pile, but it's a good, beautiful pile. So let's get into the 3 steps. First one is, I'm going to say these 3 and you're going to probably be like, yep, I already knew that. And it's because it's just simple. It's because it is just a very good way of getting out of this. And sometimes we just need a reminder, and that's what I'm here for you today to do. First is to accept that you cannot do it all. Homeschool moms are especially good at being super homeschool mom. We are go-getters. We are overachievers. We are the ones who say we can participate in all of things. We can do all of these things, and we just have these grand ideas. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's good that we say, yes, I feel that God is calling us to do this, and we are going to do this. So you have decided to do this, to do homeschool, and it is an entire life. And you probably were like me and didn't quite see it as being a lifestyle. You're just like, yes, sure, my kids are already home. Might as well add in the math and the English and the writing and the grammar with that. And, oh yeah, we'll throw in some history and science experiments. Oh yeah, no big deal. And now that you're in it, you're like, oh wow, I'm responsible for all of this. And there aren't any breaks from motherhood at this point. No, there aren't. So the first step is to accept that you can't do it all. Please protect what you say yes to outside of the home. Maybe that means you can't do all the co-ops or all the different activities or the sports or the volunteering that you really want to do, which is amazing that there's so many opportunities. So be excited and glad that there's opportunities. That means that there is something out there for everyone, but that does not mean that there is everything out there for you. So protect what you say yes to outside of the home. And when you do say yes to things outside of the home, be very strategic in how you get your family out the door. I like the term of saying reverse engineer your morning. You need to get to co-op by 9 a.m. and it takes 15 minutes. Do not be trying to get out the door at 8:45. You need to be planning that before. Our lunch is made the night before. Do you have everything that you need for that day at the door the night before? Because to be honest, one of my biggest regrets from motherhood is the rushing of my children. Running them here and there and the yelling and the discipline and everything that went along with it. Whereas if we didn't go to the activity, that wouldn't have taken place. And so I really do regret. I have asked them for forgiveness. They don't even remember the times. I have repented, and I've really worked on making sure that I'm not rushing and we have enough time to do everything and to treat my children better. All the things are great, but if it's at the expense of your relationships, not so good. So protect what you say to outside of the home, and then be realistic of your plans that you have even when you are home. You cannot do everything, which is going to lead into number 2 here in just a second here. But be realistic about what you actually can accomplish in your home. Part of the homeschool life is the fact that we are living in our homes. We are using the things in our homes. We are going to have laundry. We are going to have dirty dishes. There's going to be dirty, sticky floors. There are going to be toilets that need to be scrubbed, showers that need to be cleaned out. There's going to be meals that need to be made. There's a lot of meals, right? A lot of meals, lots of snacks. And how does that food even get into the house? Somebody has to go and get it, right? There's just a lot when it comes to just the chores and the meals. And that is a very important part of your life. You are teaching your kids how to take care of a home. You are teaching your kids possibly maybe meal planning. You're teaching them how to cook. Maybe they don't help with the meal planning, but they they help out with the cooking, and maybe it starts off with them just learning how to set the table. And then you're like, okay, this is now how we get to the food to the table. Oh, how did the food even get prepared? Okay, help me out with making these meals. And then again, reverse engineering and saying, well, how did I have all these ingredients? We're making spaghetti meatballs. How did I have the noodles and the sauce and the meat for the meatballs and all the stuff that we mix into the meatballs? How did that get into the house? Oh, yeah, this thing called meal planning and grocery shopping. You can help me out with that too. If you are struggling with the chores and getting your kids involved in chores and helping out with the home, or you are struggling with the meals, I know that can be a big hindrance of just one more thing I have to do. How about you get all that planning and things figured out? So if you're looking for help with the chores, I would highly encourage you to go check out the Tidy Home. And if you need just some help with meals and meal planning, I have a quick PDF that is available for meal planning. Both of those links for those two are going to be in the show notes for you. But when you can feel like your environment is taken care of, food is in everybody's bellies, you know where the next meal is coming from, that can help you then execute the rest of your day. So step number 1 is to accept that you can't do it all. We're not going to leave you there on a low note. That kind of feels like, oh, that's a little depressing, right? Step number 2, let's now take it up. Let's take it from, okay, I have to accept I cannot do it all. Yes, I know. Now step number 2, choose a few things to do really well. So let's bring that up. Instead of focusing on the fact that maybe you can't do everything you want to do, let's focus on a few things and do them well. We could say, let's choose depth over breadth. Not breath like you're going to breathe. It's very hard to say these words when it comes to podcasts, but breadth. What if you focus on mastery of a couple of things and you do them really well? What if you add beauty and joy to your homeschool instead of maybe a rat race, and instead of maybe chaos in the home? Again, you've gotten those chores taken care of, taking care of the meals, and you have accepted, like, I can't do it all, and I've said no to some things, and we've created some margin, and in our home even, we're like, okay, let's be realistic about what we can actually physically accomplish in a day. Then choose a few things to do really well. I always like to go back to, what are the basics with the homeschool? Math and your language arts. Now, if you have older kids, you're going to maybe have some credits and certain subjects that they're going to need to do, especially in high school, especially if they are college bound. But let's exclude that. We're not necessarily talking about that. That's something else. And they should be at this point, maybe in the high school years where you're overwhelmed. Maybe you have a bunch of little kids that the high schooler has been taught to be independent and they can plan and execute and get their work done. And you just are kind of alongside them for that. So choose a few things to do well. Let's do our math and our language arts. What else can you do really well? This is not just the homeschool subjects, but overall in life. We can go back to those meals. Maybe you're like, okay, really well. Let's eat really well this year. Really, it doesn't even have to be expensive, just really nutrient dense foods that are going to fill us up. And I want to teach the kids. I want to teach them what is good food and how to prepare it and how to enjoy what God has given to us. Now, the school subjects, maybe you say, okay, I really want to focus a lot on history and geography this year. Did you know that you don't have to do every single subject every single year? Yeah, even in strict states like the one that I live in with our homeschool regulations, it just says that in the elementary school years, gives the grades for that, you must do these subjects. It does not say you must do these subjects every single year. Again, this is not legal advice. Please check HSLDA. It's my disclaimer, not legal advice. But it does not even say that I have to do science and history and geography. I think they call it social studies every single year. I can choose when we're going to do those. And maybe this is the year that you say we're going to focus really well and we're going to dive in deep to history and geography. And we're like, the kids really want to do some art, and that's what we're going to do. And then next year, dive in really deep to science. No, I mean, when it comes to history, there's thousands of years to study. And when it comes to science, there's probably thousands of different directions that you can go with science. And you say, next year we're going to do science and music. And guess what? Don't feel guilty this year for just maybe doing the bare minimum of science, of taking nature walks and the kids asking about this and looking up answers and finding out things that they want to know. But you focus a lot more on history and geography and art. Do that well. Focus on mastery, add beauty and joy to your homeschool in those couple of things that you choose to do really well. And step 3, this is where the rubber is going to meet the road. and your daily execution of your plans needs to happen. You are the one that has to be disciplined. You are the one that is going to need to carry through. Yes, there's flexibility, there's rhythms, there's routines, there's things that come up, but you are the one that's going to tame the chaos. You're the one that's going to create the framework for the day. Maybe you want to do some time blocks. I have done an episode about that, and in your homeschool blueprint, I go more in depth with that. Maybe you're saying, okay, we need some time blocks. That's what's going to help us. You might say, you know what? More of a rhythm, more of just a routine for our day is going to help us because I've been so rigid, and you kind of want to go a different direction and just add a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere to your home. But you have to just daily execute what are your plans. Yes, things are going to go awry, but the basis of most of your days should be the daily execution of your plans. I have said this many times. How do you get homeschool done? You put your head down and you just do the work. You're saying they're really struggling in their math. Well, guess what? You do a math lesson every day. Maybe it's not a new lesson every day, but they're doing math work every single day. That's how they get better at math. How do you get out of feeling overwhelmed? How do you create a home that you have accepted you can't do it all? You've chosen a few things to do really well. You just then daily execute those plans. And I want to mention, these are your plans. These are not anyone else's plans. They don't even have to be what my plans, what my ideas are. Hopefully this is just an inspiration for you, that you are just like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to do a little bit of heart digging and do some prayer, Bible reading, and just like really search and figure out what is going to be best for our homeschool. What do we need this year? Has there been chaos and we need to rein that in a little bit, or maybe been on the opposite end, just very strict and rigid, and you're like, you know what, I need to loosen up and we need to have a little bit more margin, a little bit more freedom, a little more joy and laughter in our home. But don't focus on anyone else's plans, just yours. And again, I can't tell you what is the best plan for you and your family. You do know it. We are all so very unique. Again, take ideas from others, but what is best for your family for this homeschool year? And then don't use any excuses. Don't allow any excuses. Figure out what is best for your family for this year. When you accept you can't do it all, choose a few things to do really well, and you're saying, okay, we're going to daily execute the plan. You've created the plan, but we need to watch that there is flexibility, yes, and we adjust as needed, but not to use that as an excuse. Listen, I can come up with every single day, have an excuse for why I can't carry through with my plan. We'll go back to the gym thing I was talking about. I could come up with an excuse every single morning as to why I'm not going to do that. And yes, I have time to go to the gym now in the morning, and not as early over the winter when we were still homeschooling. My son and I were there a little before 6:30 every single morning. But now I can go a little bit later. It's the summer, and I do have a little bit more margin, a little bit more freedom to do that, but I could still come up with an excuse. We can come up with lots of excuses as to why we can't execute the plan. But again, more days than not, execute the plan. You can do it. I promise. Homeschool does not have to be overwhelming. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, that does not mean you have to quit homeschool. It does not mean that homeschool is not right for your family. It just means you haven't found the right way of living and accepting that and just enjoying it and probably taking just a little bit of pressure off your shoulders. It's okay. They will be fine. I did not teach my 3 all the things that they need to know for the entire world, because it is not possible to know everything by the time you're 18. Our goal is to teach them a love of learning and show them how to learn. And guess what? They will become lifelong learners. And how do I know that? How do I know that lifelong learning is the goal and is a good thing? Because right now you're listening to this podcast episode and you are trying to learn. I listen to podcast episodes and read books and consume content because I am trying to learn. That is just a part of life. Your goal right now is to create a homeschool life that is one that your family can thrive in. And going back to step number 2, do a few things well. Mastery, add beauty and joy to your homeschool. I mentioned earlier that the Tidy Home is a great resource if you are trying to get things under control, manage your chores for you and your entire family. And if you're struggling with meals and meal planning, the fall is a really good time because there's a lot of great meals. I switched my meal plan up a little bit in the fall. I can't wait to get back into the soups and the roasts and the chilies and all that kind of stuff, all those good meals and everything. So both of those links are in the show notes. But again, if you just go to littlebylittlehomeschool.com, check out the menu, and you'll be able to find anything you're looking for there. Have a great day.